Now, with the NFL changing the game and evolving each year, there's actually a good amount of rules you probably didn't even know existed. Based on the level of physicality the NFL players endure, you would think that the NFL referees have an easier job, but it's definitely far from the truth. Each game day, whether it's Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, an NFL referee has to endure the yelling and swearing from the spectators while attempting to memorize the entire NFL rulebook. Now, the casual person may not think that's a difficult task because it's their profession, and if they're reffing an NFL game, then they're pretty good at what they're doing. But here's the catch. The NFL rulebook is only 120 pages long, and then some. The refs aren't able to leave a stone unturned. They have to remember every one of the rules in the rulebook, and that includes the more obscure ones that we didn't know existed. Some rules haven't been called in years, but others have been recently created to fit today's NFL, and you need to know some of them. But before we get into the video, make sure to leave a like on the video as it helps the channel out tremendously, and subscribe to the channel for future content just like this. Now, we all know that each NFL game starts about 3 minutes prior with the regular pregame coin toss that determines which team kicks and which team receives. During the coin toss, each team is allowed to send 6 players to the 50-yard line to make a call for the coin toss. But a rule in the NFL rulebook actually states that each team must send 6 players to the coin toss, nothing more, nothing less. It's also noted that if any of the 6 members aren't in uniform, then it's an automatic coin toss loss for that team, giving the opposing team a full advantage. Now, the coin toss itself has brought a good amount of controversy over the last few years, but most confusion comes with the coin toss before overtime. But as the rule stands now, the team who wins the coin toss has the obvious advantage to win the game because in overtime, the first team to score a touchdown wins, and that can happen before the other team gets a chance to touch the ball. Now, a side note to that is the fact that if the team who received the ball first in overtime only managed to get a field goal, the opposing team gets a chance at being the first to score a touchdown. Unfortunately though, as history shown, 53% of the teams who won the coin toss ultimately ends up winning the game, and it's left many NFL players and coaches enraged. Now, this may shock a lot of you, but when it comes to joining the NFL, there are certain teams that have restrictions that they put on their personnel to even be allowed to step foot on the football field. Many teams actually develop their own rules on their players. One includes maintaining a certain weight limit in order to participate in the game. All the restrictions do is make sure players are keeping themselves in shape. Now, it's noted that NFL teams can't fine players for that, but they definitely can bench them. Crazy thing to note though is that in the NFL rulebook, it actually does state that the NFL itself can fine players for exceeding a certain weight limit that they vow to stay below. If a player does register overweight, they can be fined up to $630 per pound that they are over the limit. Dating back to 2015, Denver Broncos defensive lineman Terrence Knighton mentioned that he racked up about $300K in fines over a 2-year period in 2014 and 2015. Now, this topic may strike some of you as well. It's consecutive timeouts. Now, in NFL games, of course, a timeout can help in many situations, like when the clock continues to run because the player was tackled inbounds and you need to stop the clock. Now, due to the NFL games being decided by a field goal in the closing seconds of a game, many times teams will go into drastic measures and try to get at least within a field goal range before time expires with hopes that their kicker can finish the job. So for years, coaches have been known to call timeouts a split second before a snap in order to get into a kicker's head, or for better terms, icing a kicker. Now, the move is 100% legal according to the rules, but you can only actually do this once, and if a coach tries to do it back to back, then it's automatically a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. A former Redskins coach had to find this out the hard way when he called 2 consecutive timeouts to ice the kicker, and he was unaware of the rules. So it led to a 15-yard penalty, and it made the opposing team's field goal attempt a whole lot easier, turning the kick into 36 yards instead of the original 51 yards, and the Redskins ended up losing that game 18-17 due to that field goal. And that's how we're going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like on the video, and we hope to see you guys in the future.